Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Needles at the Ready. I'm Kevin.
I'm Ray.
Today is Saturday, May 24th. This is episode 136 of our YouTube channel where we talk about knitting, crocheting, yarn dyeing, spinning, and all the good stuff that goes along with that. So welcome.
Welcome.
Back to returning viewers. And welcome to new viewers.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have something else to say?
I don't think so. I think that covered it.
I kind of liked the pausing. That was nice. It felt good.
Pausing?
Well, I felt like you did like a Captain Kirk thing. Welcome to the new viewers. And welcome back. Yeah.
Well.
Anywho, welcome.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Welcome. Beam you up. Okay, so yeah, let's get going. Sorry.
So it has been 2 weeks. Just under, because last time we recorded on a Sunday. And we are well rested today.
We are well rested
Unlike
today.
last time where I was incredibly tired. Ray had way more energy.
I did? Maybe I had the tired
energy.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had just come off of our
trunk show.
Mm-hmm.
At Yarnia, who still has, they had just posted, they still have some of our yarn, I believe, and some of the stitch markers that they got made from Katrinkles. So you can always check out their site for that.
Yeah, we have a couple of extra stitch markers as well, which maybe we'll throw in a giveaway here or there too.
Yeah,
that should be fun.
So what else? So the last 2 weeks have been like generic.
Yeah. Generic. That's a good term,
right?
Yeah, they've been nice.
It was. So we did, and we forgot to mention this in the last episode because we had talked previously how we intended to go to Knit City, Montreal this year. And really kind of with the way that our schedule was working out, we had been away from home for 3 weekends in a row.
Right.
And so probably like 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago now, we just made the decision that it probably just wasn't going to work for us, and it was best for us to like have a weekend at home. And it ended up being really nice. We spent a lot of time doing yard work and outside, and there's something so satisfying about a yard work day.
There is.
I was trying to think what it's the equivalent to, and it's almost like
it's like your spring cleaning of the house almost, you know what I mean? Like when you know that your windows are done. And what did I say? Winders?
Winders.
Winders are done.
Well, I was thinking it's almost like, completing a quick project. Like,
oh, yeah.
Something that you get immediate satisfaction from. It was really nice. And yeah, it was just nice to be able to do that and to take some time to do that. So I'm sad we made the decision to not go.
Me too.
I had FOMO.
Complete FOMO. Seeing all the pictures and knowing all of our friends were there. I was really disappointed we didn't get a chance to see Max and Vincent. And it was Tanya's birthday. So happy belated birthday, Tanya.
Yes, happy birthday, Tanya.
That trip to Montreal a couple of years ago was, we had some struggles for sure. But it was one of the best trips, I think.
Yeah.
And then spending that time with Max and Vincent and Tanya was just like, it was so epic.
Yeah, we had a really great time.
Yeah.
So I was sad that we weren't able to make it.
I know.
But, it ended up working out for the best for us. We definitely needed that weekend at home to just decompress, like get yard work done, and then just hang out on the couch and watch some TV and do stuff like that.
Yeah. So. It's, we try to do, I think we do so much, and like, because we love it so much, like we love the, all the events and the different like festivals and things like that.
Yeah.
And we try to do, try to do everything. And then,
we can't.
Yeah. It's okay.
If there was like a teleportation device, we totally could.
Yeah. If it was both of our like full-time jobs, like if we won the lottery or something like that, like that would be great. If anybody wants to start a GoFundMe or something and just like finance our salaries, that would be fantastic.
It was funny though, because on like last Friday, I said to her, I was like,
close.
I was like, we can make it work for the weekend. We don't have to make a full vacation out of it. We could like leave at 6 a.m. We'll get there for noon. And then we stay the night, go back on Sunday, and then drive home.
Yeah.
Like I was close.
You were very close.
But
yeah.
So that really has been like our 2 weeks. We've been home doing yard work and knitting.
Yeah. And just kind of like catching up on stuff. I started my last semester of classes. I will be done in July.
Yay.
I know. I'm really excited.
6 weeks left.
6 weeks left. Yep. We finished our first week last week. And this instructor is putting out the content 1 week at a time.
So you can't like...
No. And it's starting to frustrate me a little bit. But it's okay. I'm just going to roll with the punches and go with it. This is Foundations in Healthcare Management or something like that. So it's I'm already in that field. I think it's, not that it's going to be easy. I just think it's going to hold my interest a little bit more than some of the other like financial classes. So for those that don't know, I'm working on my MBA, my Master's of Business Administration. And yeah, it's been like a long time. I've been in school for a really long time.
You have. I mean, don't forget.
Counting like nursing school.
But you took a break between nursing and going back for your bachelor's.
Yeah, true.
Like a good, maybe like 5 years.
Yeah, it was probably a 5-year break.
Yeah. But yeah, no, only 6 weeks. So that's
Anywho,
awesome.
There we are. Yeah.
So let's do some admin-y stuff.
Okay.
We have a trunk show coming up.
We do.
On June 14th. I'm just going to check my calendar because you guys know I've been really bad with like that stuff lately. Yes, June 14th, we have a trunk show at Driftwood Yarns in Groton, Connecticut.
We've never been there. And
we've never been, so that's exciting to know.
So it's, it's pretty close to Rhode Island. Hint, hint, wink, wink. If any of our Rhode Islander our roadies want to come down.
No, you know what's tricky about that
what?
Day? Is Michael has a trunk show at
too.
Skiing.
Can we do both? We just said like we're doing too much.
So we'll be at Driftwood Yarns that Saturday.
But you can do both. Come and visit us, and then it's like a 40-minute drive to Rhode Island.
I'm actually going to Google.
Do a little shop hop.
So the store will also have our yarn for like a full week. So we'll be there on Saturday. We're going to leave yarn there, and then you can shop during the week. That day also happens to be worldwide
Knit in Public Day.
So it would be a good day to visit.
Yeah. And we are going to do it, like Kevin said, a little bit differently than we have our trunk shows in the past. I don't think that we'll be there the entire day.
Let's not say that.
I don't know. We don't know yet what we're going to do, but we'll be there for when the shop opens for sure, because we'll bring all the yarn and stuff. And then she's keeping it, so I don't know.
It'll be there for a week. We'll be picking it up the following weekend.
Okay.
So
maybe we take another trip
Groton
the following
to
weekend
East Greenwich is a 44-minute drive.
That's okay. Easy. 40-minute drive is easy. The highway there at that point, once you get past...
Once you get past Mystic.
You're golden.
You're good.
Yeah, Mystic's a cute place. Stop at Mystic on your way up to skiing or on your way down to Driftwood. Yeah, for sure.
So we have that coming up, and
what are you going to bring to that trunk show?
I'm going to bring the Athena base, and I'm going to bring the 75-25 Achilles DK.
Great.
So that will be there.
There you have it.
And other than that, the only thing that's still going on is hosting the MAL with Fiber Hustle and Piece for Piece Crafting. That is the From a Book. So it's just knit, crochet, sew, make something from a periodical that you own.
Periodical. Isn't a periodical...
A publication.
Yeah, a publication.
From a publication that you own.
Yeah. You know what I love that this is, there's no end date in sight. Because my blanket's kind of been just like chilling. Yeah. But it's nice to still feel like I'm participating, even though it's on...
I know my shawl's been on the back burner, but that may come out in a little bit. I may bring it back out.
I need to bring back out my Stephen West shawl because I got to finish that.
So I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about this even with each other, but we're getting close to the end of May, and usually in June we start our Let's Hear It for the Boys make along.
Yeah.
So we were planning on doing that again this year, and I know a lot of you look forward to that, and we get a lot of comments and and some excitement there, and it's really showcasing the male dyers, designers, makers in our community, and it's just like making something also, it's an excuse to make something for the dude in your life or yourself, or, you know.
It's really, the main purpose of it is
Yeah.
to really highlight patterns that are made for the male form or
Yeah.
male shape, or people who identify that way. Like, it's hard. We have this conversation actually quite a bit, and I had it 2 weeks ago, I think, when we were at Yarnia. It's very hard sometimes to find patterns that are not gender neutral and that maybe fit a male form a little bit better, because there is a slight difference in the way a sweater will fit.
Yeah.
So it was really just meant to highlight that and to give knitters and crocheters ideas of patterns that they can make for the guys in their lives.
Yeah, and it kind of corresponds to around Father's Day. So if you want to do a quick
that's when
project,
we start it.
Yeah, if you want to do a quick project, you know, we do welcome whips. We'll have all of the details probably in our next episode.
Which, the next episode may be coming a day late-ish.
We'll have to see how we feel.
Yeah,
it's somebody's birthday.
Yeah, it's going
on
to
June
be
7th.
Yeah, next episode would be recorded June 7th. That's my birthday, and we're going out the night before, so we may not be in the best shape to record that day. And our niece and nephew, their birthday parties that day as well. I think it's later in that.
2-year birthday. They're doing a Santa-themed like pool party, which is kind of interesting. So I have a couple of things on my Amazon cart that are really cute, like Santa tank top and some swim trunks. I don't think I'll be swimming, but hey.
We just know what condition we were in last year.
Correct. I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I might just wear a Santa suit.
Maybe we'll wear pajamas. Oh, a Santa suit? You're going to be sweating. It's June.
I might be comfortable.
Well, with the weather that we're having, it's not, we haven't, this week has been a little like fall-esque. Fall-esque.
Yes. Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
So we'll have more on that the next episode, whether it comes out that Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
All right. With that being said, we should jump into some knitting.
Yes.
We'll start with what I'm wearing. Since I am wearing knitting, I am wearing the Once in Floral sweater by Maxim Cyr. It is knit out of Primrose yarn.
That's a great yarn.
I don't know that she actually carries this base anymore.
Oh, no? Is that the house base?
I think so.
I think that's 50% Shetland, right? And 50%
It's
wool
the house
or something?
fingering?
Yeah, because
Let me look on her site.
I think that's what I knit my So Basic out of.
Yeah.
I loved working with that yarn.
Primrose yarns. Yeah, I don't remember. I just know that I've looked for this base again at Rhinebeck, and the past couple times.
Sorry to kind of pull you off on a tangent.
Is this a DK sweater? No.
No.
It's fingering.
Fingering.
Weight.
Although Max did just come out with his DK version of the So Basic.
Both of those would be good sweaters for Let's Hear It for the Boys.
They absolutely will.
And
And his sweaters fit like our body type very, very well.
She does have it. So it is the house fingering. The house fingering, no. It's not house, because that's 50%. No, house fingering.
Yeah.
It's 50% Merino and 50% Shetland.
I knew that there was Shetland in there. Did I say Shetland?
I think so. And it's a 2-ply yarn. I love that. And then the 2 colors in the yoke are Brooklyn Tweed.
Yeah.
This yellow is Hayloft. And this one is... Smoke?
Smoke?
Smoke sounds familiar.
It was the first thing I thought of as well.
Or maybe smoke wood? No, I don't know. It could be smoke.
Yeah.
But I wanted to wear this number 1 because I'm knitting a sweater and I just wanted to test the fit of this and see if this is kind of what I'm going for, and it is. This is by far my favorite sweater that I've made for myself.
It looks beautiful on you.
Thank you.
The colors are really fantastic. And like you...
Remember I ripped it out.
Yeah, you ripped it out a few times because you couldn't get that color combination that you wanted.
I started with...
Spin Cycle or something, didn't you?
I'm pretty confident I started this as my roses.
And what one is that? Daybreak?
This is Summer Love.
Oh, Summer Love.
And I didn't like the contrast, or there wasn't enough contrast between this like beigey color and this. So I took it out and had the Hayloft, did that, and it much better contrast. I love this sweater. It fits incredibly well. Mm-hmm. I haven't worn it in a while, I don't think. But it's a nice cool day, so I was like, oh, let's throw on a sweater.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Instead of a sweatshirt today.
Right. I will talk about my t-shirt, which is so funny.
It's cute.
I love it so much, but we'll talk about this during
Owl post.
our owl post because it was a really amazing gift.
Yes.
But thank you for being a fiber friend, and I'm sure you know who
cute.
those are. We'll talk more about it.
Okay, so knitting-wise, I have... it's not all knitting. So let's say, knitting-wise. Fiber-wise, whatever. I have 2 FOs, and I have 1, 2, 3... Oh, I left something downstairs.
Excuse me, what is this?
I have 4 whips.
You didn't show me that.
I didn't show him that my new phone case has a stand.
Is that what you've been clicking? I've been hearing like fiddly.
Yes.
Oh, that's a perfect case for you.
2 FOs and 4 whips, but one of them's downstairs, so I'll have to get it.
Okay, I do not have any FOs this time around. I am pretty close. Not really. Well, yeah, to 1 I'm very close. But I will be talking about 3 whips today.
Okay.
Okay.
So then I will get started. My first FO is fresh off the needles. This is my pair of socks from Woolens and Nosh. You know we love Michelle's yarn.
We sure do.
This is from the August 2023 yarn club called Globug.
These socks are so...
This is her signature base. 90% superwash Targhee, 10% nylon, 3-ply.
You just assigned that title, right? The signature base.
I did.
Call it her
It did.
base.
No. So these are my socks, and they're adorable.
They are so good.
So I decided to do a crew sock. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I cast on 63 stitches on a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle using the German twisted cast on. I did 12 rounds, I think. Let's double check. I think it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rounds of a 2x1 rib. Because I knit 64 stitches. Once I joined in my new color after the ribbing, on the last stitch, or the second to last stitch on my second needle for magic loop, I did a knit front to back to get myself up to 64 stitches.
That's smart.
Then I knit my leg for a total of 4 inches. Added my marker here. Knit my foot until I had 5.5 inches, and then I started my toe decreases. Mm-hmm. My toe decreases, I do a knit 1, SSK, knit to the last 3 stitches, knit 2 together, knit 1 on both needles until I have 16 stitches on both, and then I Kitchener. For my heel, what I did by mistake, so I decided to try it out because I forgot to do something, is I had cut back from knitting 5 additional rounds to 3, but I totally forgot that, and I just started decreasing immediately.
Oh, really?
So what I did is I went down to 14 stitches on my needle because that gave me 2 additional rounds.
Oh, so that's smart.
To see if that would work. So I just work it the same way as I do my toe. But this time I went down to 14 stitches on both my front and back needle, and then I Kitchenered.
How do they fit?
I don't know. We'll find out today when I put them on after we're done.
You didn't try them on?
I tried the first one on prior to blocking, and it felt like my foot was a little short, actually. Which is odd because even with 1 additional round, like that wouldn't have added that much length, but it might
be your heel.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying my heel was only missing 1 round.
Yeah, because you did the additional.
Yeah. So,
but maybe at the top you want to have, because I like how it cups my heel and then it keeps the fabric in place so that the front can stretch a little bit more.
I think that's what I'm not used to. I think
Yeah.
I've been knitting my socks too long.
I think so too.
So I think that these will actually end up fitting incredibly well.
Yeah.
I do like the length of this because it would look,
too.
you know, obviously I could wear it with jeans, but it looks really good with my Birks.
Yeah, and shorts.
And
Looks cute with
shorts. So
very much so.
my next pair will be the same size.
I love that.
So this stripe here, this color is my favorite because it reminds me of the Glowworm dolls. Like it has that glow in the dark look to it.
I did love that people commented on the last episode that they remember the glowworms and they had them, and
Yeah. But yeah, so these are my socks.
very, very cute.
That is, and just so you guys know, it was living in my beautiful sister's bag. So now I'll have to skein up another color, and I have quite a bit left. I could probably do a pair of shorties, like true shorties with this.
Why don't you make your mom a pair of socks, with shorties or something? You think she would wear them?
I don't know. This is really nice.
It is really,
good job.
it's really cute.
But so I have a decent amount of this left. I have a good amount of my mini,
Yeah.
which I actually have to get better of putting my minis with the leftovers. So that I know I don't like using a different base for heels, toes, and cuffs if I could avoid it.
Yeah.
I have done it before with Woolens and Nosh.
Right.
And I used I think a 75-25 that we bought at Knit New Haven. And I just don't like the difference in the weight of the yarn and the plumpness of it. Mm-hmm. So I like using the minis that they come with, but I don't think I always put them in the plastic bags.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
So I just need to
It
get better
might
at
not
that.
be a bad idea to keep her minis separate in like a vase or something like that,
I also thought it, like,
or a little basket.
or just buying like a skein of undyed and always having some undyed yarn to just do heels, toes, and cuffs.
I have.
I put all of your yarn.
Oh no,
in
I
there.
don't. I have the.
No, you do.
DK.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I actually just realized I was speaking with the cup in front of my mouth, and I try not to speak with things in front of my mouth for people who read lips.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. And my second FO is a spin. So this is the spin I showed last week. So this is my Into the World April 2025 club called Choreography and Merriment. And this is 100% Falkland. And if you're a spinner and you like trying different fiber bases, I think this is a really good option. It's $26 a month. You never know what you're going to get or what color you're going to get, but it allows you to try different things. I don't know that I've spun Falkland prior to this. I don't think so. And it was a really good fiber to spin. I enjoyed it immensely. And I'm just trying to see if this is the skein. Okay. It is. And this is actually pretty crazy to me.
That's so
right.
great. I love that you're taking pictures.
I
prior
forgot
now.
to do it on what I'm going to show later, but I can still kind of do it.
Yeah.
So this is what the fiber looked like beforehand. So you have some, blue grays, a little peachy orange, and some green. I was shooting to get a DK weight. I did not achieve that, I don't think. What I did for the braid is I split the braid in half down the middle. And then I spun the first half from top to bottom. And I spun across the top. So I just went back and forth, all the way down the first part. The second half of the braid I split into 8 pieces and spun those from top to bottom. And here is the finished
This is
braid
the part
or skein.
It's really good.
Thank you. I do.
You do have a common theme though.
Well, yeah.
You're attracted. You are definitely.
If you see it up here, it goes with all of those
It
quite
does.
well. I am leaning towards apparently blues and greens. Or no, I'm sorry.
There's a lot of there's some grays and yellows.
There are some grays, but I'm leaning towards like muted, darker colors.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's great.
I don't have a lot of brights. But what happens, and this is actually a really interesting thing about spinning too. The color that you see in your braid or your combed top is very vibrant and bright initially. Mm-hmm. But what happens is as you're spinning it, you're blending those fibers. So like if you have a green and then blue right below it and you're drafting, there's going to come a point where your green and blue are blending together. So it's muting those colors. They're not going to be as vibrant as they appear in the braid when you get it or on the fiber. So it does change the way that your fiber looks once it's spun and then plied. So we'll undo this beauty, but I do love that I thought this was going to lean more blue, and it does, but I feel like the green is what pops out the most when I look at this. So we'll bring it up close so you could see some of our strands.
It's so good, Kev.
Thanks.
Yeah. It looks so even.
It is balanced, which is nice because there's no extra twist down here. If it wasn't balanced, if there was too much twist, it would kind of go in on itself like that. Uh-huh. So it's pretty balanced, I think. It is a little thinner than I liked. It is a 2-ply, and I got 329 yards.
Oh, for 100 grams.
It's probably a little bit over 100 grams.
Okay.
Maybe not, because I did have quite a bit of one of the bobbins.
So that could be like a sport weight.
So this is more sport weight, which is
fine.
Or
a light DK.
Yeah, which is fine, because I'm still looking for this color combination that I want for the Andrea Mowry shift.
Yeah.
Right? So I think this is going to be in it. Yeah. And probably what I'm spinning now, which I'll talk about in a little bit, will be another color, and then maybe this one. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed spinning this. I liked spinning the Falkland. It was easy to draft. Not much more I can say about that. So those are my finished objects.
It's fantastic. I love that.
And now?
My plan is to try to learn how to spin this summer. After class is done. I just don't have the brain space to learn something new. So I'm going to give it a try. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
And it's funny too. I've moved where I've spun or I spin. So I've been spinning. I have a little I
actually have a picture
table from IKEA that I keep my wheel on. And for those of you who don't know, I have a Daedalus starling. Her name is Trixie. No, it's not. Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Trixie.
Mm-hmm. I look angry.
No, you don't. You look focused.
I am focused. So I did move because Skylar enjoyed flying from his cage to my hand as I was spinning. So now I spin in a different area where he can't see my hands. He can only see my shoulder. So he flies from his cage directly to my shoulder. And then he just hangs out with me and whistles and talks in my ear.
Yeah, this is Kevin. Kevin's very focused on his spinning, but there's Skylar chilling on his shoulder while he's spinning.
Yep, and he just hangs out with me and does that.
Cute, right?
All right, so let's move on to whips. You have 3 and I have 4.
I have 3 whips. Would you like me to go? No, you go first because you have 4, you said.
All right, I'll go first. So I'll stick on the spinning train.
Okay.
I did start a new spin. This is some fiber that I got from Connecticut Sheep and Wool a couple weeks ago. It is from Shirsty Cat Designs. And this is 100% Polworth. There is no colorway name. It is just Paul 24102.
For those of you who have never seen Shirsty Cat before, and at a festival or anything like that, she has probably one of the largest selections of yarn and fiber.
Fiber for sure.
That I think that I've seen. Her booth is massive usually.
Yeah.
And she like really has a ton of samples, which is really great. So if you ever have a chance to check out Shirsty Cat Designs, definitely give their booth a little peruse, because it's pretty good. It's overwhelming a little because there's so much.
The booth has a ton of fiber and a ton of different fiber blends.
Yeah.
So this is, I weighed this and it was 110 grams. This is half of the braid.
I love those colors.
Yeah, I thought this was a little bit different for me because you have the orange,
I love the
obviously
orange,
some blue.
and
There's
gray.
a ton of white, and then you have this like magenta pink color in here.
Yeah.
And it leans towards like creating a little bit of a burgundy or like a Merlot-y color in there. So
I can see the Merlot.
Right, so I started spinning this up. Very little spinning. And I split this into in half, and then I split it into, I think, 6, if I'm not mistaken. So here's Trixie, and here's what we have so far. This yellow is just my leader, so that's not part of it. But you can see I started here, and we went from a dark orange, light orange, even lighter because now it started blending with the white. Then we have the white and the pink blended here. Mainly white, but it's a lighter version of that pink, so on and so forth. Here's kind of that burgundy, and then we got the blue.
What a nice fade, though. Like, imagine if that was like a sweater or something like that. That would be really pretty, those colors together.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out, because when I spin the other part of the braid, each of these sections is going to be much larger.
Right.
So I'm going to have much more of this dark, much more of this, so on and so forth as it progresses. So it's going to be cool to see.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
A spinning question, and it might be a silly question. When you're done with that bobbin, right, you will do a second bobbin usually.
Yes.
And then ply them together.
Correct.
Would you ply, would you try to ply the oranges together, or it's just like going to be kind of just whatever happens?
No, it's a good question. It depends on how you spin it. So what you could do is, if you wanted a 2-ply yarn and you wanted the colors to stay together, the repeat to stay together, instead of, you would split your braid in half, and then instead of splitting that second half into multiple strips, you would just leave it as is and
do the same thing that you just did, basically.
Right. And then ply them. You are going to have areas of
overlap, most likely.
Overlap or blending, because you're not going to be that consistent with your drafting.
Yeah.
So what you could do as well is you could spin the whole braid straight.
Oh.
And then have it all on one bobbin, and then you could chain ply, which is a way to make a 3-ply yarn. With one strand of, or one ply.
Yeah.
You can ply it to make a 3-ply. So that would give you the ability to have your colors really stick together. But again, you may just get like one little blip where it's not.
I was just thinking, because like looking at that as you were describing it, that fade, it really is a cool fade.
Yeah.
I'm wondering like how that would, like, to try to hold on to that fade almost.
You would have
to,
yeah, you would have to do the split it in half and just spin each half from end to end. I mean, if you wanted it, like, let's say...
Right, perfect. Like,
no, I was going to say, even if you wanted it for a sweater, you would need...
Yeah.
A full braid of each color. Sure. And then have to create it yourself.
Right.
Type of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, so this is the next one I'm working on. I am working on Ray's braid as well, here and there. I think I'm about halfway through the first braid. I think I just need to sit down and do that one, because the other braids are going to go much quicker because they're split. And splitting your braid, in my opinion, makes it easier to draft. Because it's already, because it's, you know, it's this, right now it's this thick instead of, you know, a piece is that wide and that you're going across the top from. So it just makes it appear to go quicker. So that is my spinning.
Very interested. Awesome.
I keep moving this table, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's moving the iPad or not.
I don't think so.
All right, just do that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go get my other one while you talk.
Sure. I can talk about actually what I'm working on right now. These are my May socks. This is Woolens and Nosh. I'm gonna see if I can find the tag, but this is the colorway that I don't think I have the tags. Oh yes, I do. This is the colorway that we dyed when we went to visit Michelle at her studio 2 years ago. May 25th, 2023. Wow, so tomorrow will be 2 years ago to the day. And it is on her Superwash Targhee fingering base, and it's dyed by me and Kevin. Michelle oversaw the production. We talked about this. You can certainly go back to our Knit City Montreal recap if you want to see some of the pictures and all of those things, and hear a little bit more detail. But that was the trip, for those of you who know. For those who don't, Kevin's car got stolen in Montreal, and we did obviously try to make the best of everything. And the colorway name is "And Then Our Car Got Stolen." So this is tomorrow will be 2 years to the day.
Really?
Yes.
That we were there?
May 25th, 2023.
Oh, how funny.
Isn't that crazy? So again, Woolens and Nosh, dyed by Kevin and Ray, 2023. We did have a couple of skeins of this at the time, and we did a giveaway. Somebody reached out.
I know, I was just going to say that. We just got an email. Somebody knit with it.
Yeah, we haven't responded yet to the email, but if it's you, we will respond, promise. But they also were using the yarn that they got. So anyway, I finished knitting the tube and the toe. I marked for my heel. I still have to do my heel. So we chose 4 colors while we were there. So this is what I have of the first sock, and then I cast on the second sock. I don't think you saw that on the last episode. And then I knit everything. I'm almost at the toe. I have like 2 more stripes still to go before I start my toe decreases. Why is this not lining up? Oh no, it is. So I have to get through this blue. And then move on to that like pinkish color here, and then I'll start my decreases here.
Yeah.
These are my May socks, so that's why I'm working on them now. I want to get them done before the end of May.
I think I'm still only at March. I think those socks I just showed were my March. I'm going to be 3 months behind still.
I'm proud of I'm sorry, but that's okay. You're doing other things. We're preparing for a trunk show. Like, you're doing all of the dyeing. Don't beat yourself up. Who cares? It's just a target for us, right? You know?
I know. So I'm gonna have to.
No, you're not gonna have to. You're gonna. Want to.
I'll cake some up today, and I'll get started on my next pair.
My next pair is. I'll talk about that in a second. So, what I like to do on self striping, if I'm not doing contrast heels, toes, and cuffs, So for this one, I wanted to use as much of the yarn as possible because it's like one of those, fun memory skeins. So I wanted to use as much of it as possible and have the whole thing in this colorway. I may be struggling a little bit. I might have enough for the heel. I think I'll have enough for the heel.
You probably won't have matching heels.
Oh, no, huh? Well, we'll see. It's only 4 colors.
I was just going to say that. It's only 4 colors. Can I see where your heel stripe, where you put...
Yeah, I'm gonna put it between the like orangey, coral color, and that blue. So that's where I'm gonna put my.
What color would you do? I think you need to do the gray if you can.
Yeah,
start with the. Oh, you're doing a bullet or bullseye.
Yeah.
So I guess it really doesn't matter.
No, we'll see.
Yeah, you would either start with the gray or the pink.
Yeah, I wouldn't start with with either
colors.
one of those.
Yeah.
No. So anyway, when I am doing just a single color of self-striping or a single skein of self-striping, I like that little pop at the top.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll cast on at the color change, and then I do a German twisted cast on, and so this gives you that little color pop there. I did opt for the 2x1 ribbing, which I absolutely love. I think it looks so neat.
It really does.
Right? Doesn't it look so like neat and like uniform and together?
I really like the way that it looks.
Me too. I think it looks great. And the difference between I knit a 72 stitch sock, the difference between mine and Kevin's when he does a 64 stitch is that 72 stitches is divisible by this the 2x1, so I do not need to add or decrease any stitches. So 72 stitches, just an FYI, is a perfect number to be fully divisible, and you don't have to add any stitches or whatnot. So for this one, I did my cuff 3 color stripes, and that's usually what I will do if I don't do contrast cuffs. I will do about 3, depending on how long the color sequence is, and it's usually about an inch and a half to 2 inches. 2 inches is the max that I'll go for a cuff, but I like the inch and a half. I think for me is good. So this leg is pretty long because I want it, like I said, I wanted to use as much as possible. And then I do an afterthought heel on most of my socks. It's my preferred heel, and we've talked about this before. So I do mark the row that I'm going to cut. So and I mark it with 3 stitch markers. I do one on each side at the start because I know that when I go in, those are the 2 end stitches, and then I like to do the middle as well. It just keeps me it's like a little checkpoint when I'm trying to put it on my needles, and then it's also a really good point to cut. So I just lift up this stitch on the stitch marker and I just cut right there, so I don't have to worry about cutting the wrong stitch or whatnot. I just know I cut there, and then I start picking out the stitches until I get to 2 stitches before this last stitch here. I leave those 2 last stitches still kind of attached in here, and then just start knitting in the round again on magic loop is usually how I do my heels and my toes. So for the toes on this one, I did a little bit different than I usually do my toe. This one I decreased every other round until I got to 14 stitches, and then I did my Kitchener. Usually I decrease every other round until I get to 20 stitches on each needle, and then I decrease every round until I get to about 14 to 16 stitches. And so this way gives a little bit more of a wedge. If I start decreasing a little bit faster, I think it would have given me, it gives a little bit more of a round because it changes the angle of your decreases, right? Because you're decreasing every round, so you don't have that extra like easy slope. You get a more of severe slope, so it brings it in a little bit. I'm not quite sure. I haven't tried them on yet because I don't have heels yet, but I think you can definitely tell it's much more wedgy.
They should fit fine though. That's how you started knitting your socks.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm doing. I use a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and then these will be hopefully done this weekend because I just need to I'm almost at the toe. Like I said, I'll just do my toe and then pick up my stitches and then do my heels.
So I just wanted to share this. This is the socks that somebody had emailed us that this is their first pair.
So good.
And so they won this giveaway that we did and used that in some contrasting.
I love the contrasting yarn.
It's a really bright pink.
Yeah.
Or it's a brighter pink.
Yeah.
And they also added one stripe in the sock right here with the pink.
And you know what? I do sometimes love the split.
I love a split.
And I don't think I do that very often.
Did I do that? I actually don't either. So you know what? I think it depends on it depends on how many stripes there are.
Yeah.
It depends on the contrast color for the heel.
Good point.
Agreed. And it depends on my brain. Mm-hmm. In order for me to split a stripe, it has to be an odd number, since I'm cutting out one of those rows. Yeah, and that's just me being me.
I get it, because then it's more even.
Then I have if it would have to be 7 stripes or 7 rows or 5, and then I would have an even number of rows on each side of my heel. So, and because you can't guarantee that both stripes are going to be the same number of rows on each sock, it may be a little bit off. I just can't do that to myself.
Yeah, I don't know where you put it. Oh, it's up there. I am going to... My next skein is going to be Bubbler. If you're a roadie, which I'd love to be a roadie. So this was Michelle's colorway that she dyed for the trunk show that we went to over at Skein. And it is, again, on her Targhee fingering. And I just love it. And I'm going to take a page out of Olivia's book. Olivia is Yarn Stories from Olivia. She's our very dear friend. We love her very much. She's from Massachusetts. She has a great podcast, which we've linked previously. We'll link it down below again today. She was taking part in a knit-along. She's a librarian, which I can totally get behind. She's taking part in a knit-along. I can't remember the name of it, but watch her last episode. And it's based on... it's knitting something with a color that's based off of a book cover, which I thought was really cool. And the book that she chose had some really cool blueberries and stuff on it, so she chose this really cute blueberry style yarn, or color yarn. And then she also said that this would work well for that too. Not that I have the book, but I like the idea.
I didn't know where we were going with this.
No, it's okay.
I thought we were going to talk about a book that you're reading.
I promise I will land this plane. So, long story short, long story longer, she mentioned 2 patterns, and they were both free on Ravelry. The first one was the blueberry socks, which I think looks really cool, and I thought would go really well with this as well.
Would it work with self-striping?
Yeah, I think so. Then there was a pattern, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the pattern, that was also free. Let me see if I can find it. Yarn Stories with Olivia.
So while you're looking for that, I'm going to go in the same thing of socks, because I know what you wanted to mention.
Well, I'm recording.
Oh, hi. I love Olivia.
So, keeping on the theme of socks, one of our friends, who we love, she's dear, is releasing a book.
Oh my God, thank you for, I knew that there was something I wanted to talk about.
I don't even know how it hit me. But I was like, I know what we need to talk about.
Thank you.
So Denise DeSantis, also known as Earth Tones Girl, is...
She releasing the brightest light you would ever want to meet. We
had the pleasure of meeting her in person for the first time at an event that we spoke at with her. And we did a Zoom beforehand and got to know her. And she's just such a positive force and a lovely human being. So we're super excited for her. But she is releasing a book called The No Fear Sock Knitting. And it's a video. But I believe... So it's going to come out August 12th, and it's available now for pre-order. So we will actually link that down below as well.
Yes.
The link to her pre-order. So if you have ever been interested in knitting socks, or you want some good source material, reference material, that is a lovely place to start. That is where Ray learned to knit socks from, was Denise.
She is such an incredible teacher, and she has the No Fear Sock series on... No Fear Sock Knitting or No Fear Socks on YouTube. and it's all these different lessons. They were all free. Like it was really great, and it talks about how to knit them on 9-inch circular needles, 2 circular needles, magic loop. I'm sure you all are aware of Denise, but how great for her, and congratulations. I think that's so amazing.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's another person that we follow who has a book coming out on sweaters.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that one. While you're looking that up, now I found what I needed to find. So Olivia's calling this her Blueberry Pickers May Socks, and it's based, here's the book. This is Olivia's page, and here's the yarn that she's using. And then you can see the pattern behind. It's called Library Socks.
That's right.
Yep, and it looks like it's kind of self-striping there anyway, and I think it looks really neat. I'm going to pull it up. Here's Olivia's progress. I like the texture. I haven't done a textured sock in a little while.
I love a textured sock.
Yeah. The library socks are by the Kitchen Sink Shop. And yeah, it's a free download.
And it does work because she used turtle pearl yarns, which is self-striping.
Yeah. Patterns written with the texture pattern all around the sock on all 4 needles. I'm going to do those on 9-inch circulars. But you can choose to do the pattern only on the front. Oh, you can change it up and do a couple of different things. I love that. So, it's just, yeah, it just looks fun. So I think that'll look really nice in this yarn. So again, long story longer. If you're interested and you want to twin with me and Olivia doesn't know that I'm doing this. Well, she probably does now if she's watching the podcast. Olivia and I are also going to cast on, we're at different times. Olivia has a very special birthday coming up, and she is going to take my idea and do the book snake. She's going to tweak it a little bit.
She's making a bookworm.
She's going to change it into I know. She's going to change it into a worm, which I'm very curious about. But she's going to cast that on her birthday as well, which I thought was great. Nice. So me and Olivia are twinning it.
And the other designer who's coming out with a book is Chantel from Knititude on Instagram. Where did we meet her? Maybe Vogue. Yes, that's where you got like your hot. She's the designer of the hot toddy sweater.
Oh yeah, I still have the yarn from.
Oh my gosh, we have a lot of yarn. But so she's releasing a book that will be shipping in November called Sweater Success.
We need that book because when you start hearing about our next few whips,
I know. Just wait, guys. All right, so my next whip I'll do quick. You guys have seen it just by looking at the bag. If you've been here before, you know what's living in this. This is my Jelly Roll Blanket by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. Working on it recently, and I don't know that I talked about this, but I am using double pointed needles for this. Yeah. And also it's living in my canvas bag by Paradise Island, and it's paired like the fruit. Mm-hmm. So Paradise Island bags that we got from Vogue, or I got from Vogue several years ago.
Oh, that's right.
So I am here. All right. So this is what I did. Last time you guys saw it, I was here.
Wow, you're getting closer.
So I finished this little bit, and then I started working down here. So I cast on the next stripe and finished this color.
I love the Santa hats that you have in
I know, I just needed something. So what I did too, which has actually made this a much more enjoyable process, even though I already enjoyed knitting this.
Right.
So I am using Knitter's Pride / Knit Pro DPNs, a 2.75 millimeter. And I was using the 6-inch DPNs. And when we were away in New Hampshire and we stopped at Nitty Gritty Yarn in Petersboro, I saw that they had the 5-inch tips. Or 5-inch needles, rather.
I think it's just Peterborough. I don't think there's an S. Somebody
had
commented.
Peters?
Yeah, and it just reminded me that there was a comment. That
correct. I think it's Peterborough.
Yeah.
So I got the 5-inch needles, and it actually has made a huge difference in knitting this. And you wouldn't think so, right? Where's the other one? Right? Hold on. I'll just pull one of these up. So you wouldn't really think so. But because of the difference, what happens is this kept getting stuck, like this extra length here, kept getting stuck in the blanket and also kept stabbing me in my palm when I was knitting. So it wasn't always enjoyable because I was pulling stitches, blah, 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 blah. So moving to the 5-inch tips actually has been great for this project. So if you do use double point needles, I think that's the way to go.
I think I'm going to actually buy some double pointed needles for my blanket because I'm knitting them on the circular, and I don't find it enjoyable.
I would double check and make sure we don't have the size, because
it's like a 3.5 millimeter, and we don't have that.
So currently this is the color I'm using, and this is from, I'm pretty confident this is a row 1 mini that we had.
Oh.
So, and it's funny, for whatever reason, I was really hesitant to use these because I don't want all of the stripes to be, or the blocks in the stripe to be the same size. Like I don't want, 5-inch, 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 blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, for whatever reason, I thought these were 20 grams. And I'm like, no, silly. They're only 10 grams.
No, silly.
So I'm just going to work those in periodically throughout just to give me some variation.
Variation in length, right?
Of these blocks.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Something else I said to Ray, which I wish I thought about when I first started knitting this, is I think it would be really cool to do different size stripes. Mm-hmm. So I cast on 20 stitches. It would have, again, just because this is how my brain works, I probably would have initially began with like 24, and then this one done maybe 18, and then back to a 24, and then maybe like 12 to do a really skinny one. And just to break up the stripe and make it a little more interesting. It could have made it too busy though, but look at this thing.
It's so good. Your colors.
How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 completed. And I think I'm going for somewhere between 14 and 20.
Yeah. And this is the front side with the exposed join.
Yeah, this comes up here or there.
Yeah.
The pattern itself is meant to have the seam exposed.
Yeah.
This is meant to be the correct side or the front of the sweater. The back is also a very clean joint.
It is very
clean.
clean.
You could use either. I prefer this side.
Me too.
I like the detail of the join.
Yep.
The join that I'm using is from Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. She has a project page for this, and in it she has written instructions on how to do the join. Mm-hmm. It's really simple. You just, on the right side of your project, you knit to the last 2 stitches. Or no, I'm sorry. You knit to the last stitch. So you have your last stitch on your left-hand needle. You use your right-hand needle and pick up your V from your salvage edge from the back. You place it on your left-hand needle and knit the 2 of them together.
Yeah.
Super easy. You'll get the hang of it. I believe hers also does recommend doing a salvage edge. I don't know that I don't remember if the pattern does or not. I don't think the pattern does. So on the wrong side, I slipped my last stitch with the yarn in front.
I'm just thinking, I think I took my blanket out.
I believe you did too.
Well, yeah. I no longer have this as a project.
Correct.
Which means that I can cast on...
A new blanket?
Yep. I don't need the 3.5. I can just go up or down depending on what DPNs we have in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that him making that?
No, there's a branch that's hitting the bathroom window.
Oh, every time the wind blows?
Yeah, either the bathroom window or one of the windows on the stairs, and it makes that squeaky noise.
We have to cut that down.
I know. So that is my jelly roll blanket, and these are all just scraps from leftover projects.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job, like, putting the colors together, even if, like, or the universe is just helping you with that randomness. It's really good.
Thank you. It's not intentional. It is, I mean, there's probably some intention behind it.
Yeah.
But there are times where I just have a large Ziploc bag that has a bunch of minis, and I just go in and grab something. I do try to not do two colors that are very similar back to back in the same row. So like 2 reds or 2 yellows. So that I do make that conscious decision, but the rest of it's pretty random. All right,
Sweet.
so that's one.
Okay. I will go next. I have another sock. This is like years in the making. I picked this up again to knit while we were chatting during our trunk show, and these are the Violet Meadow socks. So I did finish one. So this is a hoe. And I did a 2x2 rib German twisted cast on. I did this for, I'm not quite sure.
That looks about 15 to 16.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, probably 15. I did probably about 15 rows or so. I knit about a 6-inch leg, 7-inch leg. I did a not fish lips, shadow wrap heel. I learned that from Denise as well. She had a tutorial. She did not create the shadow wrap heel, but she kind of put it back on the map. And then I did probably this will fit like a women's size 9-ish, I think. And then I did my standard toe on this, but I did go down to 12 stitches before I did the Kitchener. Okay. These are on some really old school sock blockers, so it looks a little narrower than we usually would. We got these as a gift from our knitting group. I wonder if there's a year on this. No. The Lee Rowan Company. I have no idea. Somebody found these in like a thrift store or something like that and brought it to Knit Night. Knew that we knit a lot of socks, so this is adjustable, so you can adjust the size of the length of the sock there. So anywho, I have so I finished that, and then I just cast on, just so I wouldn't have second sock syndrome. I just cast on the second sock and did the cuff. So I am just at the point of just straight knitting at this point. This is living in a prototype chipette basket. And again, the colorway is Violet Meadow. And this is on our Athena base. So it's 85% extra fine superwash merino, 15% nylon. And it's a really, really pretty sock.
And it's a 4-ply.
Yeah, thank you. And so I'm going to bring this with us on Monday. We're going to go to my mom's for a picnic.
That's right.
And I'm gonna ask her to try it on, because I think that's her size foot, about a 9.5 maybe. And I'm gonna see if it fits her, and if it does, then she can have this. She can have these socks.
Nice.
Yeah, it might be a little bit longer of a leg for her, but that's that. So that's what I worked on too. I just wanted to finish that sock just to have that at least done, so it's not going to be like languishing, and then it's all set to go. And if I know that I have somebody that it's going to go to, then it'll motivate me to finish that again, because I don't want to just wait till our next trunk show to just work on it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really beautiful yarn to work with. It's nice and soft.
All right, so my next, I'm trying to find the pattern.
What are those? What's that, a blanket?
Yeah, that's the one I almost bought a kit for. Guys, you know how like you see something and you see a pattern? No, forget it. You see a kit. Well, a pattern and
Preach, sister.
And then you see the kit and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to buy this."
You can't see, but there's a poop ton of kits above our head.
All right, so this I was on maybe Pearl Soho's. I had to be on Pearl Soho's website. This is a new pattern, and they offered kits for this.
25% off all yarn for Memorial Day.
But look, this is called the macaroon blanket, and I'll just show you the kit that I thought about.
Speaking of macaroons, I don't know if we talked about this. I had my very first macaroon in New Hampshire at this cute little macaroon shop. And
That was also in Peterborough.
Yep, and it was yummy. So I can't believe I've never had one before.
This was the palette I thought about purchasing for that macaroon blanket. But I did not buy it. But the reason I'm at the site is that I need to find the pattern.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think I have any filler material at the moment.
So, the next project...
You want to hear a joke? I don't have any jokes.
Next project's living in my Nagmer bag. Love a good wax canvas bag, guys.
I know. You do.
I really do.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have seen this, and it may go in hibernation again. I'm kind of bored with it, to be honest. I think I need a little bit of something else in my life right now.
Yeah, that's good.
As it pertains to shawls. So, this is my half and half wrap by Pearl Soho, knitting it in the colorway Kettle and Salt and Pepper.
I can't wait till you get to the salt and pepper piece. I would
I
love
know.
to see how it's
So this is my second skein currently of Kettle. This is on their linen quill, which is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. Fingering weight, it's 439 yards. And this is where I am. Which side's the right side?
What's garter? Isn't it?
Oh, this side. All right. This is where I was last time you guys saw it. So I made some decent progress on it. So
there's a lot of stitches on there.
Yeah. It is, you start with 260 stitches, and I know I'm under 160 now. So this is the section I'm currently working. But, it's just a lot. And these rows, for some reason, sometimes feel longer than the 260 stitches. But you know what's really nice right now?
It smells like your lotion.
It smells like the tough Woolens, the cider apple, or apple cider donut.
That's mine. No. I've been looking for that.
You are such a liar.
Kevin Michael Carney.
Raymond Joseph Wathier.
That was mine. Because you were like, I don't need another apple. And I was like, oh, I love apple cider donuts. That was our conversation.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
No, because I bought these with Justine.
Bought what with Justine?
All of the Tuft Woolen at Cake. It was Justine and I together shopping, and I made all these purchases of the Tuft Woolen hand and lip balm.
Wrong.
Justine will verify said statement.
Let's make Justine choose between the two of us.
Well, at G-Bob's, it's you. The rest, when it comes to buying Tuft, it's me.
I was thrown off last time we went to G-Bob's because Justine and I were not sitting across from each other. We can't do that again.
So yes, so again, half and a half triangles wrap. It's been on my needle for probably like 3 years. And I just need a little bit of a break from strictly garter. Mm-hmm. I do enjoy a good garter project. And maybe it's because I was working on this and the blanket, and they're both just garter. That actually makes a lot of sense now that I say it out loud.
Only 2 years later since you... When did you start this project?
I have no freaking idea. I really don't. At least 2 years ago, if not longer. Yeah. I'm just trying to go through some of my whips. Like, I know I finished at least one of my ones that I came into 2025 with. I ripped out another one earlier this week. So I would like to... Oh, I finished my Stephen West shawl. I would like to finish this one this year. But oh, and this, I'm so sorry. This is knit on a US what is it? US 3, so a 3.25 millimeter needle. It's a free pattern on Pearl Soho. And that's something, if you guys haven't checked Pearl Soho's site out, they have a ton of free patterns. They're really well written. I use one of their dishcloth ones is my favorite. I actually want to make another one because I use it as a washcloth strictly for my face. Mm-hmm. And I only have 2 of them, and I would like to have some more.
It's like the house one, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it. But they have a ton of free knitting patterns.
Yeah, they do.
And I mean for babies or bags or
yeah,
like everything you can think of. And their yarn's great to work with. I've used their cotton and now this. They are always have sales, which is
yeah.
good.
So if you want to try out their yarn, it's like perfect.
It's good and bad. Because I have something else up there from them. I don't even know what I bought it for. It was some like linen stuff, and I know it was for a dishcloth. No idea. All right, that's that. Is that whip?
Okay. My last whip is had a little trouble because this I showed this on the last podcast. It is my Oak Grove sweater vest by Chin Matthews, and I will just give you a reminder of the pattern and what it's supposed to look like. It is a lace sweater vest. There. Really cool. This is it on a person, which I think it was really cool. And this is going to be our like sweater or our knitwear for Rhinebeck. A few of us are going to be making this, and the gentlemen of the groups will be knitting theirs in some shade of greenish and using that pattern, and then some of the ladies will be chose a different sweater vest pattern, and so it should be really cool. We'll kind of coordinate. Anyway, when I misread the pattern, not the stitches, not the techniques. I misread the size chart, and this pattern, I will first off start by saying that this pattern is very, very detailed. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of sizing information. And so there was a chart that tells you, actually, I can show that. This is a paid-for pattern, but I can at least show you the way that the size chart goes. So here is kind of what it looks like, the size chart. And it says that, do you see that the top number is the chest size? I was just going by that top number because at the bottom of your like cast-on stitches, it says this is the finished garment size. So my brain saw this is the finished garment size, and I said, okay, well, I have a 41-ish chest circumference, and the pattern calls for about 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. So I saw, okay, well, I'm gonna do size 5 because that's gonna get me the 46-inch completed chest size. And so, yep, size 5 it is. I'm knitting on this thing, and I'm like, holy crap, this looks really wide, you know? And then Kevin looks at the pattern, and he goes, what size are you knitting? I'm like, the 46. He's like...
Well, I said size, the 5th size.
Yeah, I said the 5th size. He's like, so you're doing a 51-inch chest? I'm like, no, 46. So the chart is fantastic because it takes out all of the guesswork and it corrects for my errors, the errors that maybe we might see wrong. Read your entire chart because the second size down is the actual finished garment measurement. The top number is your chest size or your bust size, right? So if you look, size 5 is for a 46-inch chest, and that'll leave you with a 51-inch circumference finished garment chest size, which is about 10 inches positive ease for me. So that was not correct for me. So I had to take out the entire thing, which I did. I don't think I complained about it.
No, you actually did not.
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But hey.
I think your only complaint was that you weren't going to cast on again right away, but you did the following morning.
I did. And I think I'm really glad that I did cast that back on again. So, to correct and just to hit that reset button, I am currently knitting the third size. And that is for a 40-inch chest, but that'll leave me with about 45 inches around.
So 4 inches of positive
So I'll have
ease.
about 4 inches of positive ease. I'm okay with that. It'll probably, after blocking, get another, little bit. I did get gauge because then I also did not measure my gauge on this sweater vest. So having all of those stitches, then before I took it out, I did measure my gauge. And I was spot on with the gauge. So actually, yeah, I was spot on with the gauge. Unblocked, so blocked, it'll be a little bit larger of a gauge. So right. I'm comfortable with that 45 inch. It'll give me like that 46 inches of positive ease.
For
right?
sure.
So anyway, what I did was I just wound everything back up again off of the sweater, and I had a giant cake. I did make some really good progress, I think, still on this, and it's nice that I have a little bit less stitches on the
Can we talk though really quick? So you know how sometimes when you take out a project, your yarn's all kinky?
Yeah.
If you just wait some time, it relaxes and it goes back to what it was. Like, you didn't run this through steam
No, I didn't.
anything. So if you wait a little bit
yeah,
before casting back on, the kink just kind of comes out.
Yeah, and it could be this yarn as well. Like
yes, true.
The yarn itself is really cool. This is this is Utopia, Sustainable. It's 100% Midwest fine wools. Targhee, Rambouillet, Merino, and CVM. There aren't percentages there. There's just some sort of mix. It's 230 yards to DK weight, approximately 100 grams. This is the yarn tag for Utopia. This is in the colorway Dragon Scales.
Do you know, I still don't know where my yarn is.
It's down there.
I don't know where, though.
Is that not it right there? Well, it's, you know what? It's probably sitting in a bag from Rhinebeck last year with all of your other purchases.
You're not lying.
It's very possible. I really love working with this yarn. It's getting a little bit blown out, but there's a lot of little variations in color. There's some like little pops of like browns-ish, like golden color in there, blues, Okay. Kevin. So
Why do you say Kevin like
because
that?
I see the judginess.
There is no judgment.
Here's where I am at now. I have completed 3 repeats of the 8-row repeat for the lace. I'm trying just so that you can kind of see the lace work. It's a little bit difficult to see, but you can see that they create these little like diamond clusters here, which is really kind of cool. I think it's going to look really beautiful once it opens up. I love the color of this. I think this is going to look really cool. For me, it definitely is like a tealy color. For my eyes, it leans a little bit more blue than it does green, but it's definitely in the green family. I loved the ribbing on this. It was a different way to do ribbing for me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But I think it kind of, it's a 1x1 rib, but you're slipping stitches to create that effect. at like every other row or whatnot. And I think it just makes it it makes it a little bit bolder, and stands out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's still like really, really stretchy, which I think is going to be great. I just did a regular, I think I did a German twisted cast on for this. Oh, what a great tip I got as well. And I had never heard of this before. So I needed to cast on, clearly it's bottom up, and I needed to cast on greater than 200 stitches, right? So like 2 something, whatever my size was. And one of the struggles that I have had in the past, and I think a lot of us do, right, is that when you're casting on pretty much almost any pattern, right? Let's be real. It's hard to gauge how long, like you want to make sure that you're casting on so you have, a 6-inch tail or whatever the case is. And it's very, very difficult to get to that size that you want, right? Because you're either casting on and your tail is like 20 inches long, or you cast on and you have like a little baby tail or no tail at all, and you messed up and you've got to recast on again. So a couple of a couple of our friends on our Zoom knit night had recommended, because I had this giant cake, they recommended and said, hey, have you tried the where you're casting on using both ends from the middle and the outside? I'm like, no, I've never heard of that before. So I learned a new technique. So in the cake, I took the inside, like the one end from the middle of the cake, the end from the outside of the cake. I felted those two together, so I had one continuous like loop, and then I just cast on there. I cast on my 200 and whatever stitches, and then I just snipped the what was connected to the inside, because I like to pull from the outside.
Yeah.
So I snipped what was from the inside of the skein of yarn, and I was done. I didn't have to do any like pre-measuring or wrapping all my stitches. And for yarns that are not like feltable with each other, there's also a technique in which you can still do the same thing. You just end up with like
2 ends.
2 ends. I thought that was absolutely genius. So
I remember hearing it. I've never attempted
I had
it
never heard that, but it worked out so well for me. I'm using the recommended needles, which is a US 6 or a 4mm needle for the body, and then it's a US 4 for the ribbing. So well, you can kind of see what it's going to look like. See those little like diamond triangle-y,
I think this
layered they look like scales, almost like dragon scales.
Yeah, and it's going to be another good pattern for Let's Hear It for the Boys.
Yeah.
And it was one of the reasons this pattern came out just before Rhinebeck last year, and seeing it on a male body,
it makes a big difference.
It made a big difference. I don't know that I would have knit a lace sweater for myself
right.
without seeing it. So again, that's just another good example of how seeing something pictured on a male's body changes the way that it looks. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I could make that for
and
myself.
It changes the way how we respond. I think there's like this innate response that we have, like we're drawn to certain things. And that's why unisex patterns, I think, are fantastic. Any pattern is fantastic. If you're drawn to like a fully lace, like pattern, then go for that. Like if you're drawn to, a very boxy pattern, go for it. It's just, the difference is that we as knitters and creators, I think that we can look at different things and say like, oh, I can make that work, or we're more open to some of those, outside of the traditional boxes. But a lot of the population aren't, and like our partners, husbands, whatever, may want more traditional style garments, right? And that's where it can become very like a struggle for people to find a pattern or something that their significant other might wear, or their son might wear, or uncle, or whatever the case is. So it's just another plug for Let's Hear It for the Boys. I know this may be this may not need explanation for most of you, but some of you maybe. When knitting color work and lace, I usually separate my section. So this is an 8-stitch repeat all the way around. So I just put stitch markers in between the sections. And I know a lot of you do this as well, but it helps me just stay on track, because if I make a mistake, like then you make a mistake here and you don't have all the stitch markers, you can't kind of cross-check yourself. Because things are kind of bunchy, and the way that the yarn is right now, it's not bloomed, so it's hard to see sometimes what the row below looks like. Mm-hmm. So for me, it helps me stay on track. I think that's really all I have to say. But I'm glad that I found that out when I did, because I would have been very disappointed. So, but I'm super excited about this. That was a lot of talking. I've been talking a lot, huh? Am I giving too many details?
No.
Oh, I'm done. No, I'm not.
All right. So my last whip is living in my hide and hammer bag. And this is my Finest Kind sweater by Alicia Plummer. This is my 5th iteration of the sweater.
I love that.
So, I spoke about it briefly last week. The sweater, I had an issue with some of the numbers in the sweater. I did swatch. And based on my swatch, I knit the swatch flat though. Based on my swatch, I should have been knitting with a US 7 and gone down a sweater size. So on iteration number 4 of the sweater, I did that. And then I got in a couple inches and then measured my gauge unblocked, and it was at like 17 stitches. I think it was 17 or 16 and a half, something like that. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be too tight, because I went down a sweater, a size of sweater, because I was anticipating getting 15 stitches over 4 inches. So I ripped it out again, and now I cast on the same size, but I went with the recommended needle sizes, which are a US 6 and a US 8. So I'm knitting it with a 5mm and a 4mm needle. I'm also using the recommended yarn, which is Harrisville Designs sheer and their Wellscroft Dorset. So it's 100% Dorset. It is a Aran weight yarn. So it has 203 yards, and I'm using the colorway, which I didn't realize, Morel, which is the color shown in the pattern.
Yes.
So this is a bottom-up sweater that's textured. You can knit it fitted or oversized. Here it's pictured with 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. I would prefer to have like 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. I did also make a change to the ribbing. The ribbing calls for 3 inches. I opted to go about 2 inches. So I did 10 rounds. So I cast this on again on Sunday after ripping it out, and I am currently here.
You made such significant progress. It looks stunning.
Thank you.
It does look so stunning.
I think this is going to be fantastic. I think my gauge is still loose. I'm hoping I get 15 and not 14.
So then you'll have it oversized. It'll still be really cozy.
I'm going to let the knitting gods decide what this sweater's positive ease is going to be.
Great idea.
But I'm actually really enjoying knitting this. It really goes quickly. I'm probably somewhere around, maybe 9 inches in? I was 7 inches the other day. So somewhere between 8 and 9 inches. I do need to knit the body until the pattern says 15 inches. But I'm going to use this sweater as a gauge. So I need to see how long it is from my underarm to the ribbing on this.
Yeah.
I want to say it may only be 15 and a half. I feel like I always think it's 18 and it never is. 18 might be my sleeve.
I always think that mine's longer as well, but I think it really is. 15 and a half sounds about right. 16 maybe?
Yeah. So it is a moss stitch, so it's a lot of purling, but it goes by really quickly.
It looks so cool.
And you have a little like faux seam on each side.
Yeah.
Here.
Ooh, this is a sheepy.
It is.
But very bouncy, like and squishy. Right? It feels very bouncy. Blah, 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 blah,
it changes. This is a yarn that changes dramatically once it's blocked. I felt like my swatch feels quite different from this fabric.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with knitting it on the 8. I don't know if, like, you know, I feel it is quite see-through. Not really.
You're not going to be wearing that next to skin. So you will definitely have it.
I'll definitely have a t-shirt or like a tank top underneath it.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say about it? It's a 4-row repeat, so it's super easy to remember. I don't look at the pattern. I just read my stitches. Which also makes it really easy to see if you made a mistake somewhere. So, yeah, I don't know. What else? I love the detail of the roll.
Me too.
This is what drew me in, is I had a sweater so many years ago from J. Crew. It was a baby blue roll neck sweater, and I've wanted another roll neck sweater ever since, and I've never purchased one, so now I'm making one.
But you know what I like about this one is that it's very subtle. It's not over the top. It's just a little bit.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make my ribbing here be roughly, mine will be about 2 inches, but I'm going to do the 3 inches on the sleeve.
Oh.
Because I like the detail here. You can see that this is, you can see that the sleeve's just folded over too.
Oh yeah.
So I'll probably do a 3-inch ribbing on the cuff.
Because we do roll up our sleeves.
I do roll up my sleeves, and I liked the look. I really enjoyed the fact that the ribbing on the hem was shorter than
the pattern.
Yeah. So the hem ribbing's quite short. It's shorter even than what I did. I would say this is probably about 8 rows. I did 12, I believe, was my exact number to get me just about 2 inches. So yeah, I'm enjoying knitting it.
I can't believe how much progress you made. You just cast that on when?
Sunday.
Yeah. And you've not been working on that strictly.
No, I've been doing spinning.
Yeah, you wanted to finish your socks.
I finished my socks. I've worked on the shawl.
Yeah.
I've worked on the blanket this week. So it hasn't
been... Look at us working on some Rhinebeck sweaters and things.
Yeah, and I wanted... Before jumping into that one... Well, number one, I have no idea where the yarn is. Number two is, because I've been struggling with my sweaters the past several that I've attempted to knit, I really wanted a win, and I really wanted a oversized sweatshirty sweater. So I feel like this is just going to be the perfect thing. As soon as I saw the pattern, I knew that I was going to make it. And it just happened to be that we were going to Harrisville, so everything worked out. And
it was serendipitous.
That was that. So, yeah, so I recommend this sweater. I know that Mari over at the Colorado Knitter made this. Is that mine or yours? That's mine.
This is yours.
Oh, okay. Cool beans. So that I'll be using...
That's pretty.
Yeah.
This one's moss. This is going to be Kevin's.
Yeah, so that's going to be my Oak Grove sweater.
It's right behind you.
So then Michael's must be more blue.
I thought I had the bluish
No,
one.
Michael... Oh, me...
And Michael had the a middle green.
In between the two of us.
I'm not sure, though.
Where's mine? Again, down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want it?
Yeah, just to see. Because maybe I can swatch for that at some point, too.
I was going to actually swatch... I was going to swatch for my finest kind. This is the color that I chose. It's called Raised... It's called Hen of the Woods.
Were you going to say Raised Bridges?
I was going to say Raised in Harrisville.
Oh.
But I would like to swatch mine.
This is going to be a good color.
This is sheeps. Okay.
Over there. All right, so that's all the knitting content. We shall now get into some...
You shall not pass.
Owl Post.
Yes, we got Owl Post, guys.
Actually-
Thank you all so much.
Yes, Owl Post. I'll talk about this after Owl Post.
Okay.
All right, so we actually got like 3 things this week.
I know.
Or in the past 2 weeks. So
Yeah, everybody...
start with yours.
All right, let's start with this. Because this one, Kev, is going to connect to what you want to talk about there.
Why was I thought you were going to start with
Oh, yeah, I can start with this for sure. Okay.
You got very, like, Minnesotan? You're like, for sure.
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Okay, so we got this really, really awesome owl post from Petite Fours and Pearls, which they had a fiber fair or whatnot, and they made these shirts, right?
Yeah, so Petite Fours and Pearls is a yarn shop in Lehigh, I'm going to say, Utah.
Yeah.
So we got a nice package from Adam, Katie, and Camara, and they sent us these t-shirts which were made for the fair, so they wanted to send us some.
Yep.
And they also sent some other goodies.
So look, the back... Oh, you're probably not going to be able to see. If I can you see?
So it says Petite Fours and Pearl.
Yeah,
right,
that's
you know
their
what you
logo.
could have done.
Oh, yeah, I could have held up the
So
other
they sent us each one, and the back says
one. You're such a jerk.
Petite Four
Yeah.
and Pearls.
But look how cute. So you have got Dorothy up here, Sophia, Blanche, and Rose. Sophia looks gangster, doesn't she? I think this is so cute. Thank you for being a fiber friend.
Sophia does look like
She
she needs what's-his-face's chain with a clock on it.
Yeah, I think she needs to be friends with Snoop Dogg. So I think it's great. The color is fantastic. It's really, really happy. Love the Golden Girls, of course. They had stickers made as well. So she sent a couple of stickers our way, which I think are so good. And not just that.
And a little pin. And some stitch markers. These are by
Happy.
B
Like happy?
Creative Studios. Wow, I need readers.
We're get. I'm getting.
No,
there too.
honest to God, dude.
I'm starting to have to pull things farther and farther away.
I'm going to get the click ones that,
I want those.
and then they hang on your neck.
Yeah, those are cool.
So some stitch markers there, and progress keepers. Some others.
Hap B. I wonder where they're out of. That's so super cute.
Skein-like stickers, and then some ceramic stitch markers. Mine broke though. That's okay. It's
that's
still
okay.
cute.
It is cute.
It's actually really funny because the colors were really kind of work for us. I'm a little more blue, and you're probably a little more green, like color palettes. And then a pattern which is.
This looks really neat.
So this is a pattern designed by the owner.
Right.
And I hope it's Katie.
Or you want to say Caddy.
I know.
Because of Mean Girls.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was
I know.
literally in my head. I see it and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Is it Kate?
No, I think Caddy would be spelled like maybe a C.
But
Caddie or something.
In the movie, her name's Caty, right?
You're right.
But anytime it just,
I know.
My brain immediately goes
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So this is called the...
They're out of Utah, by the way. Just
Yes,
FYI. Did you say that?
Yeah. Sorry. This is the Sunnydale. Sunnydale.
Yeah.
Cow. Well, I'm just thinking Buffy.
I know.
Like, literally just jumped in my head. I got so distracted by the word. Wait. How did I not... So is...
Yes, it's based on that.
I saw the pattern. I didn't read the entire description. I have an idea.
What?
No, I don't. I do have an idea. I have my Buffy the Vampire Slayer colorways, right?
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Great. Let's talk a little bit more about the
Yeah,
pattern, though. So this pattern, if you can see, has like these really cute, look like drop stitches in between this like almost. It almost looks like a faux cable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? It's like slip stitches, elongated stitches.
I think there's...
But it has that kind of...
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's so cool. So this is... you can also do this in worsted. There's a worsted weight adaptation for this as well.
So I can totally do it in DK. And
you can totally do it however you want to.
The instructions are charted or written. So
yes,
you could do both.
Oh yeah, cables. See? Look at me. Look at me knowing my knitting. Oh, there's pictures and tutorials and things, which is great.
I'm going to make it.
I think this is great. It's so good.
And just, because I scrolled and we're talking about, we mentioned Buffy.
Is this listed? Is this available electronically, you think?
Maybe. So for those of you who are Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans, there's a reboot in the works with Sarah Michelle Gellar reprising her role as Buffy Summers, and they've cast the new Slayer, which is super exciting as well. I am here for it.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited about it too. This is also available on Ravelry. We will link that pattern down below. It's a $6 pattern.
Are there any projects that you could show too?
134. Wow. Good for you, Katie Catty.
Katie Catty.
Do you guys hear Skylar? He has been a chatterbox
today.
Yesterday, and even last night.
Yeah, yesterday, during the day, he was quite tired, so he slept a lot. And last night, he started getting his energy. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Look how beautiful this is and you I hate when it does that.
Ravelry doesn't like zooming in. Right. So what you can do is take a screenshot and then zoom in on your screenshot.
Oh, I'll just do this. Look at it in just one color.
Yeah.
That's really pretty.
That's very cool.
Yeah, fun. Super fun. Congratulations. Love this. And you got to see Kevin's reaction to Sunnydale.
I know.
Live in person. Anyway, great shirt. I'm gonna wear this often. I love it.
Okay. So that was I will post number 1. I will post number 2.
I will post number 2. I'm going to talk about this one because then this one is going to link to that conversation.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Don't we? Where's the? Oh, that's not I will post.
No, it is not.
Okay, so Stephanie, we actually got reached out to by 2 Stephanies. This is Stephanie from Dodo Beadworks. Here is the card, and there's a QR code. So if you can scan that QR code, it'll probably take you to the Etsy shop there. Is that enough time to hold it up?
Yeah.
Is it in focus?
Yeah.
Great.
But if not, it'll be down below. As are all of our show notes.
Thank you for
saying
with
links to patterns, makers, yarn dyers that we speak of.
Okay. Can we talk about how stinking cute these are? I have never seen anything like this. She made these with beads. Clearly. Dodo Beadworks. Look, these are little chickens. Shut the front door.
And I will say...
They are light as a feather.
They are light as a feather. They're super cute. And I will say, just watching, because I've watched Hannah, right, from Corner of Craft on YouTube. Mm-hmm. She's from the UK, the dyer.
Oh, yeah.
And she
Doesn't she have her studio in her backyard where she walks back and forth?
She makes beaded stitch markers. I don't know if hers are 3-dimensional like this. I don't remember.
These are so good.
But the amount of time it takes to make one of these is crazy, and these are super cute.
So cute.
So you need to get one of these, and then you need to buy an emotional support chicken kit and use this anywhere on your emotional support chicken, because then it matches. But
I'm going to try the crochet version of the emotional support chicken pretty soon.
Number one, I don't understand how these keep their shape. It has to be how tightly they're woven. They're beaded.
Yeah, it must be. I don't know.
But because you can even tell,
Does she? I don't know how they work.
Wait, I'm going to try to see. See the connection where the metal's going through? That's also silver beads where it's like clasped onto. That's crazy. That right there.
People are so talented. Stephanie, thank you so much. We will certainly use these. These are probably close to the cutest freaking stitch markers I've ever seen. So love that.
So cute.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Let's put it back here.
Oh, yeah. Here, I'll do it. I can put it back.
Oh, okay.
All right, go on.
Okay, and the next thing that we got, guys, like you were so generous. Did not have to do this. We got a lot of comments in a couple of episodes ago. We had talked.
I think.
Yeah, we talked about how we store some of our stitch markers in these little like pillbox things that pop up and whatnot, and how ours kind of broke. And we were looking at different options, and a lot of you came out with a ton of options, recommendations.
Excuse me.
And so again, a different Stephanie sent these as an option, and they're called the Beadsmith Storage. Super cute. Here's an out of the box.
So it's gonna make some noise because there's some pieces here.
They're adjustable. You can use these to kind of use like as separators. Yeah. But great idea. And thank you for sending these. Like,
yes, thank you.
I love this. I just love the idea of having everything kind of closed up together, and like it's like a little fishing. A lot of you recommended like little fishing tackles.
Yes.
Like tackle boxes, the small ones, which is also a really great idea. But I like that we always end up right with a ton of the light bulb stitch markers. They're everywhere, right? They're so inexpensive, but they're so convenient, and they're so like versatile to clip on things. We use them to clip on like our sample tags to like our samples, for example, or whatever. Add a stitch marker, a non-locking stitch marker, to make a progress keeper or whatever. So anyway, so great idea to do this, and you can like have one. They're relatively inexpensive, so have something like this to throw in every knitting bag.
And she said her local yarn store carries them.
Yeah.
So, like, check your local yarn store for things like this.
A lot of people recommend
you could definitely get Amazon.
No, it's nice to support small businesses.
Yeah, I've been trying to not buy a lot.
Yeah, same
online. Here. No, online.
Yeah,
really.
I haven't made an Amazon purchase in a while. So
good job.
Thanks.
But that leads us to the next thing.
Yeah, but you can wear this around your neck.
Do you know what? Okay, I actually have a thought about that in a second. But so another one of the recommendations was to get a product, and then I read the comment. I was like, "Oh, I have that. I just don't know where it was." But then I found it. So this is the Notion Nook from Fox and Pine Stitches.
Yep.
So yeah, and
so that's another option.
Another option is they just released a mini of this.
Yeah, which is great. I love the magnet for this one.
Yeah,
I really do.
This obviously there's quite a bit of there's a bit of a size difference. Yeah,
it's close, but see the thing is like there are different options, because if you need smaller sections. Yeah. Like
you have
a lot of small sections, and the ability to make these even smaller. Here are, and then this is another option where they're all the same size with the exception of this one, down here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you have, like, for example, in mine, which I wish I had brought up, I'm very particular sometimes. So I have, in my smaller sections, I have like special stitch markers, that I put in there. Not that you can't mix them together, but
no.
Whatever.
Hey, look, we all have our things. I can't put a heel on an even number of rows.
Correct. So I think it's just there's so many different options out there. Find what works best for you, and thank you all for responding and all your suggestions, because it was it was a good conversation piece. We all need our little we all need our little sorry, I got distracted by a text message.
I know our friend just texted because we have people coming over this evening.
Yeah.
And
anyway, we all have our little needs and our little things that
our quirks,
and things that may work for us that may not work for you, or work for you that may work for somebody else. So sharing all of these things and all the different options, I think, are great.
Yes. With that being said, that's all of our owl post.
That is.
So now we're just going to move on
but
to
thank you all for sending all of those things.
Breaking the bank.
I don't think that's how you do a heart anymore.
We're not doing that. That's how we do hearts.
I know.
This is how you make a phone call.
Right.
It's not this.
Yeah. I know.
This.
Yeah.
We're sticking with what we know.
And how we used to take pictures.
Yes.
And now this is how people
Stop. You were born in the 1900s. We're staying there.
I'm going to stay in the 1900s.
Yes.
What's the heart now? How do you make the heart now? It's like different fingers or something. Or it's like a hand. I'm not sure.
I feel like I saw this somewhere.
Yeah,
recently.
and it doesn't make any sense. It's not a heart to me. Okay, sorry.
Anyways.
Whatever. Go
All
ahead.
right. We're moving on to Breaking the Bank. And there's only one thing. This is our monthly shipment of the Woolens and Nosh Sock Club. We alternate months. This one is mine for the month of May. It is called... Actually, it's funny. Colorway is called Mine, a.k.a.
Mine!
Gull Makes Off with Blueberry. So if
Like a seagull. Get it?
Yes. So if you have not received yours yet, because this just came, I think, yesterday or the day before, I'm going to show it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's good.
So we have
It's
an
good.
orange, some white, a yellow, blue, 2 blues. We have a navy and like a...
Skyish blue.
Yeah.
A little lighter. Baby blue.
Yeah. Baby
Powder blue.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put the words
I
together.
would say powder blue.
I don't know if I said orange, but orange. I can't wait to see what it looks like knit up. So this... I don't know if this is going to be my next cast on because I feel like this needs to... It could potentially need to be like a full-length sock, not a crew sock.
Okay. But I feel like the colors would be perfect for like a summer.
Mm-hmm. So maybe my next 2 socks should be this and then my sushi roll because those are summer.
Ooh, fun.
I feel like for some reason I have an inkling this is going to like remind me of a different version of sushi roll, you know?
Oh, maybe.
Like if you put them side by side.
They might be, yeah, I don't know.
You know, they're just given like they're different parts of the family tree, you know?
They look like friends.
They
don't look like they're related, but you know how sometimes like best friends can like look and dress alike a little bit, like you kind of match your best friend.
That's what I'm doing. These are my next 2 pairs.
Yeah.
Done.
Great. Delusions of grandeur.
I know. They're not getting done. So that is all of that stuff. So
Great.
We haven't been able to really do this much. We're going to move on to what we've been reading and watching. So watching, let's just start with disappointing news, is that we just read the sad announcement yesterday that Wheel of Time has been canceled by Amazon.
Wah, wah. We liked that show.
I enjoyed the show. Though I do understand why it did get canceled because it's so far off from the books. So if you're a fan of the books and watch the show, you may not actually enjoy the show.
Sure.
And that's the fan base they were kind of going for, you know?
Gotcha.
But watching wise, we recently finished watching... Let me pull up my app. So I don't know if I've ever talked about the app before, but we do use the app, or I use the app Sofa, which allows you to track things like books you want to read, games you want to play, movies and shows you want to watch, but then log it, like, once you've done it. So, we recently watched, The Residence.
I think we talked about this.
We were watching it 2 weeks ago. We finished it, loved it.
Loved it.
Recommend it. Drama at the White House, and a detective.
Dramedy.
And the detective comes in to solve it. It is
Didn't it kind of make you want to be a bird watcher?
Absolutely.
A little bit?
I almost bought some binoculars and
Did
a book.
you really?
No, just kidding.
Oh.
But look,
I get it.
wouldn't be surprised if I did.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And then, so we watched that. Highly recommend. It's on Netflix. The cast was great. Mm-hmm. And then we just finished. I'll have to log it. Rings of Power.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, there were 2 seasons of Rings of Power. We started Rings of Power, and this is the whatchamacallit?
It's from Amazon. It is a prequel to Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. I was like, why can't I remember the thing?
And
Yeah, we started that a couple years ago. We got to 2 episodes
and
apparently, and then stopped. So we picked it back up again, and I thought it was good.
So I enjoy it. I also found that I enjoyed the second season more than the first.
Yeah.
My struggle with the show is that I found a really hard time connecting to any one specific character or group of characters.
Yeah.
Where when watching The Lord of the Rings, I found that I connected with the characters quite quickly, and you cared about what happened to those characters.
Yeah. My favorite character was not even a main character. It was the I forgot what her name is.
It was Prince Durden's wife.
Yeah, she's like the rock singer or whatever.
We'll find her name now.
I loved her. I don't know why I love her so much. I want to like hug her.
I do. She actually was one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, she was one of my favorites. But yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a good point. I thought that like the story was a little bit weird as well. Like it's interesting because you want to learn, like you know, they infer Sauron a lot, at least in the movies. I've never read the books. And then here you're kind of figuring out who that is, and
her name was Princess Disa.
Princess Disa.
Love her.
Me too.
I love
who's the actress?
Sophia Numvet. Here.
Her. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sophia Numvet.
She's great.
What
else is she in?
She is also.
She's from the UK.
Yeah, she's from the Mafia Mama. Never heard of it.
No, me too.
She's a voice actor in Baldur's Gate 3.
We love her.
Yeah, I just had a really hard time. There was no connection to the storylines either initially. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of storylines that didn't have a connection, and it took a really long time to get there to see how all of these moving pieces played a part in the overarching story of Lord of the Rings that we knew. So it's a good fantasy show, but it was just really hard to captivate.
That's a good point. It was a good fantasy show, but it didn't. I kind of failed to connect all of the like Lord of the Rings stuff that we're just used to. Good point.
And then, so once we finished that, we just started watching Peaky Blinders. I know it did not air on Netflix, I don't think, but we're watching it on Netflix now. We have finished season 1.
Yeah.
We are currently in season 2, maybe like 1 or 2 episodes, and I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too. I think it's good.
I think our main character, Tommy, is incredibly smart, so that's what intrigued me after the first episode or second episode. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I love how he's playing this game. I love his level of intelligence and how he can see a couple steps ahead sometimes of other people and his thought process. So yeah, I'm liking it. It takes place in 1919.
Yeah.
UK
or 1921 now at this point,
yes.
because 2 years had passed since season 1.
So they're a family a crime family in the UK.
Yeah, basically like illegal betting and gambling, and then they get into some other things. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. It's interesting to watch those period pieces, and then to think like, I know you love the way that people dressed.
I do. I think it's really cool that no matter your class at that time period, people just dressed well by our standards now.
Right.
Like people dressed like they were
up.
going to church.
Yeah.
How we would dress up to go to church now, kind of, is how they dress
right
every day of the week.
Yeah. Like you would never find anybody in their
Excuse me.
sweatpants.
Oh my, no, not at all.
No.
And an interesting fact I read or learned somewhere recently is that then in that time period, they didn't have like children's clothing. They just had clothes that were adult-like clothing made for children.
Right. It wasn't like play clothes or
Right.
anything like that. Yeah.
So that's what we've been watching and then reading.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
I have a lot.
I know you do.
I'll be quick.
I know you do. I'm just going to talk about two that I finished, or one that I finished actually. So I read a book called Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is a murder mystery or thriller. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. The last like 30% maybe, I stayed up till 1 or 1:30 in the morning reading so I could finish this. The book, our main character is Lucy. Her best friend, Savannah, also known as Savvy, was unalived 5 years prior to the start of this book. Lucy was one of the main, or the prime suspect, but was never charged because there wasn't enough evidence. Lucy also has no memory of the evening. 5 years later, when the book begins, a true crime podcast starts covering this story, and it throws her life kind of in shambles because now people know who she was. It happened in small town Texas, so it never made like national news. So she could like live her life outside of Texas and nobody knew who she was. She heads home, and the rest of the book is about the unraveling of this unaliving of her friend Savannah with the podcast. So what's really cool is everything's from Lucy's point of view.
Yeah.
But then at the end of some of the chapters, you have a transcript from the podcast with his interviews from some of the people in town. So you really get an idea of what people thought of her, even her family members. And a lot of things are uncovered where alibis aren't necessarily true that were given 5 years before, or new things kind of get uncovered as you go. And it was really great because I didn't know who did it until we found out who did it. So that's always fun when that happens. So I would definitely recommend that book. And I'm currently reading a book called The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is also a thriller. I'm going to go thriller. I don't know if there's any unaliving in it. This takes place in 1975, upstate New York, in the Adirondacks, at a camp. In 1975, the camp is run by a very wealthy family called the Van Laars, and their daughter Barbara goes missing. 14 years prior, their son Bear went missing at the same residence. The family owns the campgrounds, and on top of a hill is their residence called Reliance.
Why can't we have a cool name for our residence?
We did for a while, didn't we? And so Bear went missing 14 years prior. Now Barbara is missing. And you go back and forth between some timelines. So I've jumped back somewhere in the 50s and then in the early 60s when the mother Alice had Bear. And you get a lot of her, a lot of it covers her relationship with her husband and her son. And when we head to like, I just finished a section that covered like the search for Bear and some of the stuff that happened in that timeline.
Yeah. And
now in 1975, it's the search for the daughter. And immediately, some of the camp counselors lying about where they were that night or what happened and blah, 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 blah. So I'm about 40% in, but it's intriguing. Like, I can't wait to see what we uncover next. And I will say this family, the men in the family do not appear to be good people. So I'm interested to see what roles they may play in this storyline. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Cool.
Oh, and I'm listening to Wheel of Time, The Eye of the World. I'm trying to really, get into this Audible thing. So I'm only listening to it when I'm spinning in the morning.
Gotcha. Good.
Yeah, because I could throw it on the Echo and not have headphones in, and I concentrate when I'm spinning. So then I could only have to focus on two things, my spinning and the book. So
yeah,
it's actually worked out quite well for me.
I love that for you, that you're getting into audiobooks again.
Yeah. Well, I never got into audiobooks.
I know. Or that you're getting into audiobooks.
Yeah.
You're giving it a try again.
Yeah.
I meant to say. I finished 4 books. The first one that I finished listening to was Dragon Day. I did talk about this in the last podcast. I gave that 4 stars. It's an urban fantasy where it's modern times. Why are you laughing at me?
Because I thought you were speaking fast.
Oh, it isn't. Well, because
I know. Because you want to go, I'll go fast. So then you started speaking fast so that you could go fast.
So it's an urban fantasy. The concept is that there are dragons that just wake up one day and start coming through the grounds and
I would love it.
Attacking the cities and like building nests and all of these things. And it's a story interview style. So if you've never, this is an Audible only, I believe, or an Audible original. If you've never listened to that style of book, I do find it very interesting. Basically, there are just snippets. It's a full cast production. There's sounds and sound effects and things and music. There are little snippets of interview sound recordings. The main character is a kind of a journalist who is trying to she's called a chronicler. She's trying to chronicle or document the events of what happened with Dragon Day, which is basically like D-Day when the dragons kind of emerged. And throughout the interviews, you start learning more and more about the story. The story progresses. The timeline then progresses. And it culminates into an actual ending. So you do kind of figure out what happens to the human race, how we kind of find a balance. There's some twists and turns in there. But I do like, this is my second book that I've read that is like this interview style. And I find it very compelling. Like it was very interesting to listen to this.
And it's not a series, right?
No, it's not a series. It was a one and done, and it was a pretty quick listen. I did, like I said, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Would absolutely recommend. Would not listen to it again, just because I think it's just the initial, with that kind of style. I think one is good. But I would highly recommend to others. Or give that style a try. I thought they did a very good job with this one. The second book that I finished listening to was called The Signal. I did talk about this, I think, on the last podcast as well. So I finished that one. That one was by Eric Buckman. The Dragon Day is by Bob Proel, Proehl. So The Signal, I gave 2 stars. I do not recommend this book. I did not recommend. Yeah, sorry, I would not recommend. I tried to give it some time. It was at first sounded like it was going to be sci-fi. And you kind of thought you knew where it was going to go, especially with the title The Signal. It was also a full cast production, Audible only or Audible original. I found the cast very rigid, very difficult to believe. It wasn't very good. The storyline sets you up, and then it completely went in a different direction and was a complete letdown for me anyway. Did not like the ending. I didn't care for it. I didn't give it a 1 because there were parts that I did find entertaining a little bit, but it's just I'm sorry, it's just not something that I would recommend. The third book that I finished, this is a read. This was Mickey number 7, or Mickey 7. out of the Mickey 7 series. It's book 1 of 2. And that is by Edward Ashton. They did make a movie out of this called Mickey 17, based off of this book. I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy the first book. The reason why I'm hesitating a little bit, and it's going to bring me into the second book, because as soon as I finished that one, I started the second one, which is called Antimatter Blues. It's Mickey 7 number 2. The second book, I'm not loving. And the reason why I'm not loving it is I'm not liking where the main character has gone, with his like personality and maybe his values. I thought I connected with him in the first book, but the second book comes around and there are some things that happen in the second book, and some of his interactions and his choices, and his motivations behind some of those choices, I'm not connecting with him anymore. Like you connect with a main character of a book, and you can kind of, if you have a good connection, you can anticipate what they're doing, or what they're going to choose. And you feel like, oh yeah, I can make that choice too if I was in his shoes. I lost some of my connection there. So while I gave the first book 4 stars, I would probably stop at the first book. I only have maybe about 10 minutes left to read. I was so tired last night, I just couldn't stay up for it. Of the second book, I'll probably give the second book about 2.5 to 3 stars. I don't know why. I didn't. It was him. It's the character, the way that his character is written. Not a fan. Not sure. Sorry. Then
who are you apologizing to?
I don't know. Anybody who likes it. I always feel bad. Like, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. And we all have different
opinions,
and this is just my opinion. No offense meant. And then I also started and finished a new audiobook after The Signal. I thought it was going to be a quicker one, but it's actually a series, and I don't know how many books are in this series, but it's called Induction. Welcome to the Multiverse number 1. It's by Sean Oswald. It's a lit RPG, which basically means like, those online video games or RPGs that people play. You have a class system and you're kind of leveling up as you go. Lit RPG is a relatively new genre for me over the past year or so. Maybe a little bit more, that I've been reading some lit RPG, and I find that I really enjoy it. It makes me miss playing those types of video games. We used to play a lot of RPGs, MMOs, on the computer, like a lot. We were really committed to them for a while. So it kind of makes me miss that, and growing your characters.
All the time.
Yeah, I listen to some of these things and like when they're going in dungeons and whatnot, and I'm like, oh, I miss that.
There's a new Dune game coming out. That's
Dune. That sounds fun.
It's kind of like Conan Exiles. It's the same company, Funcom, and it's that same thing where like you're on Arrakis.
So our favorites was, it's no longer around, Star Wars Galaxies.
Best.
The original Star Wars Galaxies. Before they did the stupid trash update. It was so good. City of Heroes was amazeballs. Amazing. Look these up.
Wow.
We're not going to describe it. And then World of Warcraft. Those were our big... We did play...
we played a ton.
I know. We played EverQuest for a while.
The Matrix.
Oh yeah, The Matrix Revolutions. No, The Matrix. The Matrix.
We did Guild Wars 1 and 2.
Guild Wars. Then there was another...
Lord of the Rings.
We did play Lord of the Rings. I didn't get very far in Lord of the Rings.
No, I think we got pretty decent.
Terra... Oh gosh, what was it called? Oh yeah, we played Terra.
What was the one with the
Tabula Rasa? Remember Tabula Rasa we played? Yeah, what was the angel one? The wings. You had wings. Oh, it began with an A, I think.
Aeon.
Aion.
Yeah,
that was a good one. Anyway, that was our video game of choice. Those and Final Fantasy games.
Oh,
were...
We also played Final Fantasy Online.
You're right. We sure did. Final Fantasy X was my favorite Final Fantasy game ever.
Oh,
Yours was Final Fantasy VIII.
I know. Mine's always a toss-up between
You love
10.
Squall.
I love that. 8 was the first one I played, so maybe that's why.
10 was mine.
Was the first you played?
That was the first that I really got into, and I was such a completionist with that game. Like, and I love that you can collect all. They call them aeons as well. I think the
Yeah, we're going off on a
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
Yeah.
Induction. Welcome to the multiverse. Lit RPG. So as you can tell, this is right into my wheelhouse. It makes me want to play
a video game.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
I haven't watched.
I know. Okay, stop.
Stop.
So I finished that one, and then I just started listening. I went right into listening to the second one.
There's 8, by the way. The 8th, as of right now, the 8th one will be coming out August 4th.
Shite. They're cost a credit now on Audible. They're no longer free.
I have a
listens.
ton of credits. You can have some credits.
Okay, shovel some my way. So the second one, the one that I'm listening to currently, is called Countdown, and that's the Welcome to the Multiverse Part 2.
And that is everything.
That's a wrap.
This has been the longest one we've done in a while. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
All right. So, that is everything.
That is everything.
We appreciate you guys hanging out this long. If
We
you
do.
stuck around to the end. And we will be back in roughly 2 weeks again.
Yeah, come check us out because we're not going to podcast.
We are podcasting before the
We
trunk
will
show.
podcast again before the trunk show, but
So-
it may be on a Sunday.
It may be on a Sunday because depending on the condition of these faces on that Saturday, they may not be able to make it.
Plus, our brains may think that we're a little younger than our bodies do.
Correct.
So we'll see.
So thank you so much, guys. We hope that
this was fun.
you have a great 2 weeks, and we will see you in a fortnight.
Bye.
Bye.